Beneath one of Earth's greatest natural beauties, Yellowstone, lies a ticking time bomb. I remember marveling at the geysers, hiking through lush forests, and watching wildlife roam. The serenity masked an underlying tension, an unease buried deep in the geothermal veins of the landscape. Whispers of concern grew louder as the ground trembled beneath our feet, and the geysers became more erratic. Nature's signs were impossible to ignore. Bison fled in panicked herds. Bubbling mud pots grew more frequent, and the familiar hiss of hot steam now sounded like an omen. The scientists couldn't hide the truth. As data poured in, it painted a grim picture. I remember their faces illuminated by the eerie glow of data screens, their eyes reflecting a mix of fear and determination. They stayed in their labs around the clock, calling each other over as new spikes appeared on their monitors. Predictions, once hopeful, now spelled inevitability. Yellowstone was on the verge of a colossal eruption. Emergency broadcasts soon blared across every media channel and evacuation orders quickly followed. The supervolcano, dormant for centuries, was about to unleash a force unseen in human memory. The urgency was palpable. Millions of us fled our homes, packing whatever we could carry as the ash cloud loomed ominously on the horizon. The air grew thick and the sun began to fade, bathing the landscape in a sickly twilight. Tension in the streets was thick as crowds swarmed vehicles, causing gridlock on every highway leading out of the region. People shouted at each other through windows. Horns blared incessantly, and families huddled together in fear. We were overwhelmed by uncertainty and the gravity of what lay ahead. Then it happened. The ground rumbled violently, releasing a deafening roar as the volcano erupted. The sky lit up in a violent explosion of ash and fire. The earth cracked and split open, spewing molten lava and searing clouds of smoke. We watched helplessly as plumes of smoke rose thousands of feet, transforming the once vibrant sky into a swirling mass of black and gray. Red-hot magma spilled from the earth, engulfing the land and setting entire forests alight. The magma flowed like a river of death, swallowing everything in its path. Millions of tons of ash and smoke shot high into the atmosphere, forming a colossal ash cloud that swiftly blanketed the continent. It blocked out the sun and plunged us into perpetual darkness. The immediate impact was cataclysmic. The ash cloud spread like a death shroud over vast stretches of land, turning day into night across the United States. I remember the first flakes of ash drifting down like snow, covering homes, cars, and entire cities. The once bustling streets fell silent, save for the occasional cries of confusion and despair. The destruction rippled across the globe. Financial markets crashed, international trade ground to a halt, and airports shut down under the ash's weight. The temperature plummeted overnight, ushering in a sudden and brutal volcanic winter. The biting cold froze our agriculture, leaving crops to wither and die. Entire farms were buried under layers of ash, their fields rendered barren. Food shortages followed quickly, and desperation became a shared burden. In the darkness, society's thin veil of order unraveled. Rioting and looting erupted as people fought for dwindling resources. The military tried to restore order, but their presence could do little to stem the rising chaos and despair. We huddled in makeshift shelters, drawing warmth from each other as we listened for any flicker of hope on our radios. Outside, the environment was scarred beyond recognition. Acid rain poured down, poisoning rivers and lakes, killing fish and leaving the land scarred. Entire ecosystems were wiped out, reduced to smoldering ruins. New diseases emerged amidst the turmoil, seizing upon weakened populations with ruthless efficiency. We tried to adjust to this world of eternal twilight, where every norm we once knew was challenged. I watched as humanity struggled to adapt, donning masks to keep the ash from clogging our lungs and clearing what we could to plant crops. But the bitter cold and endless darkness proved too hostile to overcome. The land lay barren and unforgiving, devoid of the life it once sustained. With nowhere left to run, the makeshift shelters offered only temporary refuge. the voices of the few murmuring against the silence of the ash-filled air. As the final embers of civilization grew dim, the world slipped into a desolate landscape of ash and ice. The supervolcano had unleashed its fury, leaving only questions about what might remain buried beneath the darkness, as the last traces of humanity flickered and faded away, swallowed by the endless night.